All right, here we go. We are watching overtime of this OKC game, and I've missed 2 weeks of power rankings, but I wanted to get one out. We are officially through week 7, which means we are halfway done with the regular fantasy season. Kind of crazy, but yeah. Uh, Playoffs start week 15, so that means we're halfway done. Crazy. Uh, let's go ahead and just jump into this. I say every time it's going to be short, but um, we're gonna spoiler alert the power rankings there. Um, so the first thing I wanted to do is quickly talk through something that I had posted last week about measuring schedule luck, essentially. That's coming from this site that I use all the time for like cumulative wins, Fantasy Hub. Just shows like some basic schedule stuff. It also has this schedule comparison view, which is pretty cool. It shows basically what would everybody else's schedule be or record be if they faced your schedule, right? So all I did was copy and paste that into a spreadsheet to do some like quick maths on it. And so what we're looking at here is yeah, like everyone's record as if they were playing Carl's schedule, and then as if they were playing Logan's schedule, if they were playing Travis's schedule. And then I just summed up all the wins. So this is if the entire league played Carl's schedule, this is how many wins that would have been had overall, right? I did include each owner's actual wins. I don't know if that's bad math or not. I'll need one of the data science analysts to tell me if that's bad in terms of stats and probabilities. But I just left it in there, honestly, just like for convenience sake. But what this gives me is basically a number that I can point to for every owner and say, here's how many wins the entire league has if they were to face the schedule that you played, right? So the higher the number, the higher total number of wins, the easier the schedule, effectively, right? I didn't get too advanced in terms of like how much easier or anything like that. But after this week, we can see that actually Trond has the easiest schedule now, according to this sort of like reverse cumulative wins formula that I touched on last week. And that was because he played Scotty this week, who had a horrible week. RIP, sorry, Scotty. But yeah, he overtook me actually for the easiest schedule of the season using this sort of methodology anyway. So yeah, let's jump into my power rankings here, and I'll kind of like try and talk through and justify what my ranks were and what the numbers were and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and jump over. So in first we have Travis, second is Carl, third is Chris. I put myself in fourth, which is wild because I feel like my team is floundering a little bit, or just like not, just not super high on them. But fifth is Mark, sixth is Caleb, K-Man's in seventh, Scotty is 8, Logan 9, Andrew 10, John in 11th spot with 4 wins. What the hell? And then Trond is bringing up the rear, 12. So we can see here kind of like the typical stuff that I've talked through before, looking at things like cumulative wins. I did start including things like total points and actual wins in my ranking. Like I'm needing to like start factoring those in more and more, since those are the things that we use to establish our playoff odds. So I know there's been some teams that are like kind of on hot streaks right now, and other teams that have gotten unlucky, but you kind of say, oh, Andrew's luck has to turn around at some point, right? But I mean, we're halfway through the season. Even if he starts winning now, the odds of him grabbing a spot based on wins is shrinking, just based on like the number of games that are left, right? Like sometimes it's just an unlucky season. So what we can see here, yeah, there's a few metrics I can point at. One is it's that same number I was just talking about, league wins versus your schedule, the average being 42. And that's because, an average owner should have 3.5 wins right through week 7, because they're average, and then times that by 12. And there's, 3.5 times 12 is 42. Cumulative wins is kind of the same, except that this does remove your wins basically, right? Like it's one less owner's worth, because it always we're basing it out of 11, not out of 12 whenever we look at those. So anyway, I just threw those in there as like context if you want to try and look at like how much better or worse are my cumulative wins, or how much better or worse is my schedule than average. So if you're over 38.5 cumulative wins, then you have an above average team according to this metric. And if you have a below 42 league wins against your schedule, then you have a very difficult schedule, right? Or a bottom half, I guess top half more difficult. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. And then I put in an expected wins column here. That's basically just based off your cumulative wins over a 7-game schedule, right? So out of the potential, what would that be, 77, right? Cumulative wins that you could have, you've won this many, and this is basically just that expressed as a percentage and converted to not a whole number, a rounded, a wins-based number. You get it. So whenever I'm looking at this, most of these shouldn't be too controversial, you know? Like, I think there is like a clear top 3, as wild as that is Travis, Carl, and Chris. Chris was complaining about his team, and apparently that's all it took to like launch his team into overdrive, because he's scored very highly, really like 5 of the last 6 weeks. So really only one bad week for Chris all season. For as much as he hates his team, it's actually pretty good. And then we have kind of the next group is Mark and I kind of have the same cumulative wins. If anything, I might we're kind of splitting hairs a little bit because my schedule's a little bit easier, but I also have a few more total points than he does. I'm a little bit luckier just because of that easier schedule, but also Mark's team has fallen off in the last couple weeks. He's scored low 2 weeks in a row, and so is my team, but just not quite as bad. I should probably start including like some trailing figures in these as well, in terms of like how have you done like over the last 3 weeks or something, right? Maybe next week, we'll see. And then Caleb's team is also doing really well, actually. They've been kind of climbing the board the last 3 weeks, doing really well. And then this week, high score. Thank you, base god Bo Nix. Who would have thought Bo Nix at Auburn would eventually be leading the largest fourth quarter comeback for a shutout team in NFL history or something like that? So I think we're kind of like the next group up, right? Then we have K-Man. There is a bit of a drop off to K-Man here in cumulative wins, but he has been doing really well recently. Or I guess he's kind of mixed bag. I don't know. I guess I just liked his team. He does have the 4 wins that props him up a bit, so that's pretty good. And his total points isn't really that bad either. He's only got outscored by Scotty by 15, and he's like 9 cumulative wins behind him. So I just think he has like a good chance to rattle off a few wins, I guess, and get in. Scotty's team, it's been rough. Only 2 wins. He started off really, really strong, but he's kind of just fading over the course of the season. But I still think his team could make some noise. We're gonna have to see. I would put like K-Man, Scotty, and Logan probably into the same bucket. Logan's still hanging in there with 3 wins. I think his team is fine, not crazy, but definitely not out of it for sure. And then the bottom 3 I have is Andrew, who I don't think is actually out of it yet. The biggest kind of like place where Andrew is screwed is that he doesn't have time to come back and get a wins spot in the playoff, right? Like, he's not going to be top 4 in wins. He's also obviously not going to be number 1. Like, even that's getting away from him to even be a possibility. He could still sneak in the 6th spot, though, in terms of points. He'd have to rattle off some real, real performances in the back half of the season. But, like, it is, I'm still saying there's a possibility. And his schedule has been so hard that, like, I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself. I was going to say there's still room for regression here in the schedule, which there is. I mean, mathematically, but even if he goes 7-0 in the back half of the season, he, having only one win, like he's just not there. There's not enough time, right? There's going to be 4 other teams that all, even if they just have mediocre second half to the season, are going to end up better than him. So, yeah, he just, name of the game is score points. If anything, yeah, Andrew doesn't need to worry about winning matchups in the second half. He really only just needs to put up consistent high points. Just put up points. And then my last two, Tron. This one's not too controversial. He's got the easiest schedule, the few most cumulative wins, and he's still overperforming his expected, right, by a half a win. Pretty hilarious. John, yeah, he's maybe that's a little bit mean. Maybe I guess he has scored well the last 2 weeks. He is still, second to last in cumulative wins. He does have the 4 total wins. His point total is still pretty far down though. He is even farther away than Andrew in terms of getting a point spot. And I kind of have the same feeling though, like I was just talking about with Andrew, where John would have to get like extremely lucky, I think, to put together enough wins to even get the kind of that number 4 spot for win total, right? To get in the top 4, top 5 of the playoffs or whatever, based on wins. So he's still pretty far down to me. I guess anything is possible, but not only would he have to like go on a crazy tear, he would need all the people kind of up here at the top with 4 and 5 and 6 wins to kind of like end up cannibalizing each other, in my opinion, to even try to sneak in on wins. And I feel like that's asking a lot, basically, of the rest of the league in terms of how all these results shake out. So anyway, yeah, that's my 1 through 12. We can jump in and look at the individual performances or teams and just kind of the state of the team. I guess I'm not really doing like week to week, team evals or anything. But we can at least see, like, just jump in and I'll just kind of like ramble through my thoughts on each of the teams. So we'll start down here at the bottom with Trond and Scotty, really just like a match of heavy hitters. We'll go with Trond first, I guess. A bad week. I'm not going to like sit here and berate a team that had a down week. It happens. Tron's team is not good consistently. Saquon is a huge reason for that. I don't know what the hell is happening with Philly in that offense, but we'll see if they can turn it around. Really, on this team, I don't know if it's going to matter much. Same with Brock Bowers. Maybe he'll get him back. Scotty's team, yeah, like this is, I want to say they are definitely better than this, of course. Bijan is going to be fine. Quentin Johnson, a little bit worried. I guess I'm worried about a few of these players, actually, which is why I pushed Scotty down my list a little bit. Quentin Johnson had that hot tear to start the season, and I feel like he is falling off a little bit the last few weeks. He's probably behind, definitely behind Keenan Allen, and probably also behind Ladd McConkey at this point, in terms of like options. And then even didn't their tight end just catch like 15 balls or something crazy? So Quentin Johnson might be back on the shit list for Scotty. Justin Jefferson is 10 is nothing to sneeze at, but I'm a little bit worried about the quarterback situation in Minnesota. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Otherwise, Scotty's got some dudes, but I don't know, honestly. It's hard to get a read on it. Then we'll go look at Krams. Krams' team, yeah. They're just solid. He's just like whoopsie-doosied his way into Aaron Rodgers. Josh Jacobs is going to continue being the most inefficient back to score a bunch of touchdowns. He gets Rashee Rice back. Ladd McConkey's finally getting some more attention. 10 targets from him, 2 tutties. 15 targets to Ladd. Getting attention, getting all the good stuff here and he's got Lamar coming back, McLaurin coming back. Charbonnet scored twice yesterday on his bench. This is a solid team. There's not much to nitpick here. K-Man's team seems to be like putting enough together to win some weeks, but a lot of it doesn't seem sustainable. I don't know. Ashton Genty is just not, like, your first round pick is not delivering. I'm glad Justin Herbert decided to have his best game of the year the week after I dropped him after playing him for like 6 freaking weeks. What a pleasant guy. Yeah, I mean, he has a solid week. Now, K-Man does have a bunch of people on his bench that should come in as backups. Garrett Wilson, Hampton, Bucky Irving. Like, this is still a very solid team. I think that's also why I had him still like right on the cusp of like kind of forcing his way into the playoffs. I do think he's gotten, I mean, obviously he's gotten a little bit lucky, right? 1.3 games above expected. So he set himself up well. And if these guys come back and if Justin Herbert continues playing well, I think K-Man's in a good spot. Yeah, so keep it up there. Yeah, Andrew, solid team. He gets Kittle back, who does nothing for him. That's sad. Did Godwin even play this week? I feel like he might have. No, he didn't even get on the field. Yeah, he has not looked good. Jonathan Taylor's going to win. This is going to be crazy. Andrew's going to finish the year with the number 1 running back and like legitimately might be in last place. This is going to be wild if this happens. Like, fantasy is crazy. Yeah, man, just score points. That's all you could do. Caleb adds to his misery with this crazy, honestly, luck into Bo Nix scoring 40. You don't plan for that. JSN just propping up the entire Seattle economy. And he'll get back Joe Mixon. Well, maybe not. I think there's been rumblings on Twitter that Joe might just be out for the whole year, in which case you've been holding a guy all year for nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Caleb's also in a decent spot, though. I have him right there neck and neck with K-Man. Carl loses Jaden Daniels again out with injury, but Swift is stepping up. Jamar Chase is looking like, that's going to be insane. Oh my gosh, we're going to double overtime in this OKC game. Jamar Chase is just going to get force-fed by Flacco, so that's going to be great for him. And McCaffrey, good Lord. One thing I'll call out, big respect to the little dogs here. I saw that Carl, Carl's classic, like, he's loading up on running backs. He's just waiting for an RB to get hurt. What he actually did, though, he was so far out ahead of Mark that before his defense played, he actually dropped his defense on purpose to go swoop up another, I think it was Kyle Monangai here, who ended up having a great game. Now, is Monangai going to be good enough that you're ever going to start him without a Swift injury? I don't know. But just the fact that Carl made the big brain move of go pick up an extra lottery ticket as opposed to, 6 points from a defense that you don't need in case an RB gets injured. I respect the hell out of that. Now, that being said, if you end up, I was going to say if you end up missing the playoffs in terms of points, maybe that's, you try to get every point you can. But Carl's also first place in points. So I don't know. Maybe Carl should be in first place on my board here. Yeah, big ups to the Belichick level brains on Carl in terms of how he's managing the roster right now. Then we got Mark. So yeah, me and Mark are technically about neck and neck in terms of performance, but his roster is just annihilated. So on one hand, I am performing better than him. On the other hand, he's got a much deeper bench ready to go. Puka, Debo, Aaron Jones, Josh Allen was on bye. Like, obviously, we all know he's better than what his score was this week. It was just one of those weeks you just have to sit through. But yeah, I think Mark's positioned actually pretty decently as well. I have him in the top 5 right now, so I can't be too down on him. Then we have, let's go with Logan. Yeah, the Scataman, just crazy. Oh yeah, losing Nico, that's going to be rough. I guess he hasn't been playing too well, but he's been like a solid, flex play this season, even with how shitty the offense has been. Yeah, you can go back to Bill, plugging him in the lineup maybe. But yeah, overall, Logan's team is not amazing, but not terrible. Probably have to get some breaks, but it could happen. And then John, yeah, solid week this week. Maybe they'll start just hucking the ball to A.J. Brown in Philly, and he'll keep delivering. Get Derrick Henry back in there. It's not a bad team. I guess, statistically it is, but I feel like it has some dudes that can make it happen, especially if Patty keeps putting up these like 30-point games. Number one quarterback. How does he fucking do this? It's crazy. It's because he's running a lot more. That's how he's doing it. 4 rushing touchdowns in 7 weeks for Patty. That's got to be like a record for this dude. Yeah, it's like he's going to break his own rushing probably yardage and touchdowns like halfway through the NFL season, it feels like. So yeah, as long as he keeps it up, I don't know. Maybe John just can rattle off some wins here and sneak in. Yeah, I think that was... Did I hit everybody? I don't even know. I don't think I've talked about me and Travis yet. Yeah, my team's shaky. I don't know. My team is shaky. I'm not too... I think I've been very, very consistent, and I think if I go look at my schedule, that would probably bear out as well. Yeah, 7, 9, 9, 5, 5, 4, 4. So, like, very consistent. Haven't had any really down weeks, but also haven't really popped off at all. So, yeah, I'm putting up points. I'm getting lucky with my schedule. I'll take it. You'd rather be lucky than good, but it is a little bit terrifying. And then Travis's team is just good. He just has enough guys that I'm also glad Chase Brown decided to have his first decent game the week he plays me. Thank you very much, Chase Brown. But losing Mike, RIP, that stings for lots of reasons. He's not going to get us 1,000 yards. Travis is going to have to deal with replacing him every week. Not a fun one to lose. But yeah, I don't. It is what it is. Travis's team is good. My team's decent. Okay, I think that is everybody. I jumped around a little bit, but yeah, that's the Week 7 rankings. It's hard to tell where things are going to go. I got to be honest. I feel like the top 2 or 3 teams are really solid, and I feel like everybody else between, kind of the 4 through 9 range, it just is like almost coming down to luck. And then we could even have John in there as like a sleeper cell that could, if things go right, he could come up the board as well, just because he's already gotten the 4 wins. So it's going to be a fun second half of the season, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. Later.